Hey guys, it's Josh, and another day has passed, and here we are. Well, it was a crazy one. Yesterday, I got up and went to work, and work was pretty easy. Went through and pretty much just had a pretty chill day. Cut some vinyl, which is pretty normal, and then I went through and I did my formatting and my actual like production files for the day, and pretty much that eats up most of my day, just because production files that are made obviously don't take very long to be put back out, especially since we do have a lot of repeat orders, working with some of the larger grocery chains. But for the most part, if there's a part that needs to be made from scratch from a detail, it can take some time between trying to get your colors matched, trying to make sure that the formatting is exactly how it's supposed to be, making sure that your print and cut files are consistent with one another, which, as easy as that might sound, that is a bitch sometimes. That will take more time than anything else. It's purely creating the cut file that holds the print file so you can print it and then cut it afterwards, just because a lot of materials have to be cut to shape afterwards. You don't get them in shape. They'd be just impossible to print at that point. That's kind of just a pretty simple way to kind of do that. I mean, nothing too crazy. And then after that, I ended up going to class, and it was my last day in this class, and my second to last day of class overall. And it was kind of surreal. It still really hasn't hit me, even as I'm sitting here talking. But I mean, it is what it is. Um, that class was pretty much going through and making sure that there was our resumes, our cover letter, and our portfolios are as 100% as clean, as positive, as strong as they can be. And after some quick touching up, just because as much as I didn't want to, I was suggested to me that I use some kind of bullet system to list off certain things that I had used in more of in a paragraph form, purely because the thing that was suggested to me is that if it's in a paragraph form, it comes off as a wall of text and it's a lot harder to digest, which will make my resume less optimal as far as going through and trying to actually get hired. So I went through and I listened to my teacher because she wouldn't steer me the wrong way. I mean, she's part of the career services unit. She would know what she's talking about. So I went through and I did that, and I updated my portfolio, or not my portfolio, I'm sorry, my resume and my references. Got some new references, which is really cool. A lot of more professional references than I did when I first graduated from the graphics program. So I definitely feel a lot better about going in. I also emailed my teacher about setting up my LLC for my company, just because that is something I want to be able to do. And I definitely want to go ahead and move forward with that, just because having a business entity is going to really help make the most out of me and what I'm doing. So that's kind of like my goal for most of that, is to make sure that I get the most out of all that. I want to get the best references possible, which I've asked teachers, career advisors, colleagues. Some of my colleagues I have taken off over time, but it definitely is in a place a lot stronger than it was before. I actually have 4 strong references now. And that's actually a lot better, because I had 3 references prior, and I would argue that 2 of them were not very strong, not very good references for what I was looking to do. So that's kind of how that goes. And then after all that, it was just kind of just relaxing, hanging out. Ended up finishing that last day, getting 100% in those grades, because turning those in at the end of class was a major grade. So I mean, my grade went out. I mean, it was a good day. And tomorrow, or Thursday, I should say. Thursday actually is the last day of class, and that's what we're jumping on to. I'll be going through and checking out my website. It's still not where it needs to be, so I'll probably be doing some little bit more touching up with that tonight. And I also will be keep going on touching that up, just because I want it to be as strong as it possibly can be. And I want to be able to buy my own domain and my own hosting. That's all stuff I'm going to be looking to do here in the future. I just had to get a couple more bills taken care of prior before I do that. I have about 6 months between when specs ends and when I actually lose the hosting. So I will have 6 months to kind of use that as a as a jumping off point to like actually be able to jump into my new site. I originally wanted to do that before, but finances weren't quite where they needed to be to do that yet. It's not very expensive, to be honest, but it is a little bit upfront that I just don't quite have at the point, because it's been circulated in other spots as far as other financial needs at this point. So it's kind of just, that's how it goes. I mean, this field is not very financially healthy. It's you have to do a lot of your own money to start to even get into the field. I mean, between my camera equipment now and my laptop, I'm about $5,000 deep, and that's chump change for some of these professional guys. Hell, that's chump change for most people that've been in the field for a while, purely because the actual nature of the equipment being expensive and having to spend even more to keep going. So I'm kind of deep into it, but I'm not that far. Still have more to go, but being able to put my resume together and keep building and be able to move into a better job so I can afford better equipment, so I can expand and do my own thing. Those are all future aspirations that I'm jumping towards. And last night was a really nice reminder that I am capable of doing that, and that I'm actually more ready than I really thought I was. So that's kind of where it's going to be. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. I'm going to go ahead and keep rocking and rolling, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.